This is part two of the JMS3 business plan outline. In the part one, we talked about doing the data dump, the raw data dump of all the ideas in your head, then kind of going to the next level of the creative data dump, and it's all just bullet points that become, indentations under the appropriate headings to really start adding more detail through a creative process, thinking things through. Then the third thing is really going deep on the critical thinking of everything that you've put in here. So once you've done that, now the next step is the things that you've put in here that are now forming your overall business model and the specific operations of your business. You're going to start coming in, taking that data and starting to run it into your pro forma and different pro forma sections to model it out. So let's say, for example, you're going to do a pay-per-click campaign. Well, here's where you're going to start modeling out an entire pay-per-click campaign, with all the details associated with it, what your average price is, your cost per sale, and then really your marketing plan, your pay-per-click plan starts to develop in this section here. So whatever you've now, the intent is not to go deep into pay-per-click or using influencers for marketing or developing your own influencer channel or email marketing or event marketing, all the other types of things. But this is where you're going to start using the pro forma in conjunction with the business plan and going back and forth. And when you start running things into the pro formas, this really begins the sort of the left brain thinking, the analytical thinking of what you creatively wrote in the business plan. So as you go through the pro forma and you start to model out the things that you wrote up in the business plan, you're going to see details, basically feasibility details, timeline details, costs, resource requirements that come from modeling out all those things that you put in your business plan. And as you do that, you're going to see certain constraints develop. Either they're not turning out to be very profitable, or labor resources or other materials resources are just way too high, or you're going to start seeing things, wow, this is a great program. But in the pro forma, you're going to be able to model these things out to either find their sweet spots and see what does make them pencil, or even more importantly, you're going to find the things that would not pencil. They were just pie in the sky dreams that you wrote down in the business plan, and that's okay, because in that creative part of the data dumping into your business plan outline, you want to capture everything that you've been thinking about for this business, and then bringing it into the pro formas to start really modeling that out, and to see what what is really feasible to do from a resource and finance perspective. It also flows into your, it's going to affect your capital expenditures, your startup costs, loans and leases. If you're planning on financing equipment, you can start running in those finance packages and finance implications of buy it cash versus finance it, and what that does to the overall impact of your business model and the resulting business performance. You can also start designing your facilities using pro formas to see what kind of capacity you can start getting out of a particular area that you already have, and you want to know how much you can do with that space. So all these details start getting modeled out through an analytical and, frankly, fairly complex pro forma environment driven by spreadsheet calculations, that once you have all these results and you really start seeing how things are penciling out, you can always go back down into the details, whether it's labor, your retail pricing, your wholesale pricing, your retail packaging requirements, different things that you've been putting in as far as employees and staff and when they're starting, and maybe you're going to push out some expenses until your revenue and net profit get to a point where you can self-fund these things. But this is how the pro forma really works hand in hand with your business plan. And the business plan continues to get more and more detailed, more and more specific to your overall business model, and really reaching that final feasibility, that final forecast that winds up becoming the plan that you're going to execute. So as you analyze all the things that you wrote down here in those pro formas and plugins and calculators and all that, you're going to come back to this and now revise it with those results, based on those results, and either revise your approach to it, revise the results, revise your policies and procedures, or you may have exhausted all avenues to get it to pencil and it just doesn't make sense to do it, so you delete it out. And here again, anything you delete from here, create another Word file that I call snippets when I do it. And so anything you cut out of here, paste into the snippets file, so you still have it and you can refer back to it rather than losing it and having to recreate it from scratch. So as you continue to go through that, and once you revise the business plan again, you're going to go back to the pro forma, you're going to remodel it. The remodeling process, you'll go through many iterations of remodeling every aspect of your business that you can model in your pro forma. And it's ultimately going to take you to a point where you've either ruled it out because it just doesn't pencil, or you're going to come up with the final configuration and all those variables that you wind up entering in to a particular pro forma. All these variables become your set of goals, very specific goals that as you achieve and hit these goals that you've projected in here, whether it's a cost or some kind of a percentage of capacity that you're achieving, or a certain number of memberships that you've sold in reaching those goals. And here again, these numbers, you can adjust these, based on the type of marketing that you're planning on doing. So everything is tied together here so that you have the narrative of the business plan that describes the pro formas, and in the pro formas provide a calculated justification of the feasibility of why you want to pursue this. And not only is it good for you that you know all these details, but investors or partners or folks that you're going to be hiring down the road, this gives them not only a great level of detail to refer to, because investors love to know that you actually did your work and just didn't pull numbers out of the air and throw them down on an income projection. They want to know where these numbers came from, and by being able to show them this level of detail to support what you're writing in the business plan, and in the business plan is supporting the pro forma back and forth, have a very complete document, professionally put together, covers all the bases. And from those documents, you can provide full files to folks that you're working with, partials on those files based on what they need to know, but it gives you a complete reference document for forecasting and planning out your final business model. Thanks for watching.